clear that if you like.
Well, it's kind of hard, at this time. I mean, these are very challenging times in America, times we've never seen before. And even from a political standpoint, I think if we don't have a new president, we could have a worldwide recession. Just looking what things are lined up. But I mean, that's a personal opinion, and nothing want to go much further than that. But
Where do you see the real estate plays, no matter what happens?
Well, real estate is really a byproduct of the economy, and you have to look. It's all about jobs, unless you're a resort. I mean, that's even about jobs. It depends upon the economy. And you look at today, people say, "Well, how is real estate doing?" It really depends where you are. It's a very local ball game. New York is doing very well. San Francisco, Silicon Valley is doing very well. Boston's doing very well, and Washington. And I think when you look at the rest of the country, they're trying to recover, but there hasn't been a major recovery that is really taking place. I think people are really on hold. I don't think there's ever been a time where business has had so little confidence in the leadership in Washington. And I think that that's why this election is so important, because it's business who creates jobs. And today, there isn't the confidence in Washington. The balance sheets of corporations across America are probably the strongest they've been in years, or maybe forever. But they're not spending because they don't have that confidence. I was talking to the former president of the Business Council, and he was dealing with talking to President Obama, who he was questioning about all his rules, regulations, and the opportunities for business. And the president said to him, "Well, you guys have all this cash, I'm going to force you to spend." And his remark was, "We can wait you out." And I think that's really the feeling of business today. What's going on? I don't think you've ever seen it before. It seems so business really uniforming their thoughts of what's going on in Washington.
I think as a result of exactly that, and real estate really being the byproduct, we have to think hard about the type of investing that we're doing at this point in the cycle without having the results of the election. And as a result, we're really not doing what I would call macroeconomic investing. We're not investing at this point just saying the world's going to get better, so if we buy things today, it could be worth more in the future. That's a gamble I think that's too great today because it's unclear what the outcome of the election will be. So what we've had to do is really look at micro opportunities, and whether that's distressed investment, something that failed, that we invest capital and resources into to make it better, but not relying on growth in the economy to make the asset more valuable. We're investing in specific areas, like you said, New York, that obviously we have a big concentration, and fortunately, it's probably the fastest growing or the least deteriorating city in the country. And so I view those as true micro bets. Even Hudson Yards, which we'll probably talk a little bit about, if you look at the type tenant that's going there, it's an interesting story. I guess to talk a little bit about it. When we did Time Warner Center that you all said you've seen, that was a deal with Time Warner where they basically viewed it. They didn't view that as a real estate transaction. They viewed it as a marketing deal. They basically said, and Stephen's brilliance really convinced them that this was all about showcasing Time Warner on Central Park, broadcasting CNN Live around the world from this location and creating a worldwide brand, which at the time was the world's greatest media company. And that decision was made by Dick Parsons literally in 24 hours, and it was a marketing decision. Today, as we lease our buildings at Hudson Yards, the decision-making process is very different. The decision-making, virtually all the tenants that we're talking to, we probably have 10 tenants in excess, maybe more, in excess of 1 million square feet that we're talking to. And the story is basically the same. They're XYZ large corporation around the city. They're in 3 or 4 different locations. They've got lots of divisions. And every single one of them is consolidating. Every single one of them, even in bad times, have leases expiring. And they're basically looking at their real estate portfolios, and they're saying, I can aggregate all my divisions together. I can take 80, 70% of the square footage that I had before, through a combination of bringing them all together and efficiency in new buildings. And even if the rent per foot is slightly higher in a brand new building than my old space, with the greater efficiencies and the less square footage, I can reduce my rent. That decision is really made in the CFO's office. The decision is studied by armies of consultants, layers of brokers, and the process takes months and months and months. And I think, that, again, that's taking advantage of a micro opportunity, that's going on in the country today, not because of, unfortunately, not really because of growth and expansion.
Give them a sense of the scale